Hello, welcome back to the Ball Knowers podcast. I'm Jack Heating here with a special guest, first-time guest here, Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Good. How are you?
I could be doing better right now. I can't lie. After the Thunder lost that first game, that was kind of heartbreaking, honestly. As a Thunder fan, I was so excited to be up that for the entire game and leading consistently 10, 15 points. I mean, 15 points at one point in the fourth quarter, and then
Yeah.
just like steadily point bucket after bucket, the Pacers just kept making chipping away at at a comeback, and then with like a minute left, I was sitting in my kitchen with my dad, and I'm watching the game on my phone, and I'm just like screaming because I know what's about to happen. Like they're just hitting a Nemhard 3-pointer, which that one actually like felt like a dagger to the heart that hurt, and then
Yeah.
Haliburton gets the ball and hits a game winner, and I like the second Shea missed the mid range, I knew what was about to happen. It's an
Yeah.
inevitability with this team.
Once Halliburton gets his hands on the ball with 8 seconds, you just know it's going in.
hmm Yeah, and I was thinking about that earlier today. Like I feel like a big reason why this team is so consistent with getting these 5 second, 10 second, last second getting the ball with 5 or 10 seconds left and getting a good shot up and making it consistently in every single series in the playoffs so far has been that they just have such a fast paced offense. They're able to um, move the ball down the court so quickly and get an open shot, whether it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter. And so, because they've been doing that all season long, when they get the ball with 5 seconds left, it's not that out of the ordinary for them to be able to get a good shot up. Whereas for really any other team, especially the Thunder, who, you see their clutch offense consistently ends up being just Shea, everyone's praying that Shea can get them a bucket. Um, they get uncomfortable in those situations, and then they end up getting a Shea mid-range turnaround on like three people, which was like the best shot on the court because he tried to pass it to J-Dub and he couldn't do anything. The Pacers are really built for those moments, and I mean, I love Halliburton, I love the Pacers, so like it's very cool to see. But as a Thunder fan, it sucked to lose that game.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for the Pacers is that they just have so many guys that they trust to go one on one. Like they're fine with Nemhard, Neesmith, Siakam, and Halliburton, obviously. And the Thunder
Mhm.
really, outside of Shea and J Dub, they don't really have anyone that feels like they could take someone off the dribble. And J Dub even struggled
Definitely,
with I
yeah,
think Neesmith was guarding him most of the game. So
he,
J Dub
he had,
struggled to create anything in that matchup. So
yeah.
it came down to Shea.
To get into the basics of the game a little more. Pacers won 111 to 110. The Thunder were up, like I said earlier, by 15 points at one point in that fourth quarter. And the Pacers just had, again, one of the most insane, uh, improbable comebacks to ever happen. Um, I had it here. So yeah, the Thunder had a 96.4 win percentage, up 9 in the final 3 minutes of this game. And with 2 minutes 52 exactly. And
Yeah.
teams, while trailing by 7+ in the final 3 minutes of fourth quarter or overtime in the playoffs since 1997, were 0 and 121. And now, obviously, it's 1 and 121. And that is in the Buck series. We saw it with Halliburton driving to the bucket on Giannis and hitting the shot. In the Cavs
Yeah.
series with the step back three, I think he did that like twice. And then in the next series where he hits the step back, like run back to the three, bounces off the
Yeah.
top, goes back in, and now he does it again. This is just like I saw I don't know if you watched Nerd Sesh, but I watched their reaction to the game, and Carson had a really good take on it where he said like I can remember basically every single playoff buzzer beater in my lifetime because it doesn't happen very often. Like it's a
Yeah.
big deal when Kawhi or Curry or LeBron or whoever it is hits those shots, and Halliburton has done it 4 times this playoffs. Like that is so unbelievable.
Yeah, and I feel like all 4 of them, wasn't it was the Pacers one in game 1 also? Because I know he's hit 3 game 1 buzzer beaters.
Which,
Um,
which you said?
I mean, against the, Bucks, because he hit a game
Um,
1.
I don't. I don't remember honestly. Like I
Yeah,
remember
I
the
don't
shot. I
remember.
don't remember which game it was. I think
Yeah,
it might have been because they took game one. I mean
yeah,
they were the home team, so like it wasn't they were favored, but
yeah,
um, and yeah, and plus Dame didn't play. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was game one. I think it was like game four, maybe game three.
yeah. I wasn't sure because
I
I
don't
saw
remember.
something. Yeah, I saw something about how the Pacers in game 1 like because they play such a different style with the like pace.
Mhm.
It's just hard to adjust for other teams playing them in the first time because you could obviously simulate the like intensity, the pressure, the speed, but you'll
Yep.
never really feel it in a game until you get into the game. And the
Mhm.
Thunder did a good job holding up against it for most of the game, but like it just, I mean, it just fell apart in the worst time.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers led the scoring in this game for point 0.3 seconds of the
Yeah.
entire game. Like the Thunder went out on a 7-0 run to start the game, and they did not look back after that. They consistently had a 5 to 10 to 15 point lead for the entire time, and man, it just in the final 3 minutes in that fourth quarter, the Pacers went on two separate runs of 12-2 and 10-2. Like that is just unbelievable. They are such a consistent, good fourth quarter team, and really the whole second half they were fantastic. Carlisle, I mean, I've been really high on him. I think most people are. Like he's a fantastic,
Yeah.
really all time legendary coach, and he that was already pretty cemented, but this run has really cemented that legacy for me. And they coming out of the second half. I mean, they had 19 turnovers going into the first half or going into halftime. That is the most in I think it was playoff history, right? In one half.
Yeah, it was yeah, I think it was at least in finals history, and I know it was the most in any half for any team this year, playoffs or regular season.
Yeah, and then in the second half, they only have 5 turnovers. Like they really locked down on stopping those turnovers, and I mean most of them were just like kind of stupid stuff too, like lazy passes into a passing lane that was contested, or like a one-on-one ISO that just got stripped because the OKC is so handsy. And OKC only scored 11 points off of those 24 turnovers. They average 1.3 points per off turnovers typically, so the Pacers did a fantastic job of stopping those points off turnovers because that's really how the Thunder start their offense, and that's how they win a lot of these games, and that's how they blow out these teams.
Yeah, I wrote that down too, that, they need to capitalize on the turnovers more. I know in the first half, it was 9 points off the 19 turnovers, and, like,
Hmm.
for a team, like, you can't leave the door open for the Pacers because you know that they never lose
Totally.
confidence. They keep their
Hmm.
wits about them, and then they go on that run when they know that they have the chance. And like, if the Thunder could even have just turned it into 19 points on 19 turnovers, which still is, like you said, under their like usual efficiency mark, but those extra 10 points would have been the difference between the Pacers having a chance and not having a chance, like down the stretch.
100%. Yeah, I mean, until at this point, really, and even before the series, until the Pacers take out their starters because they're losing so badly, I I don't feel comfortable. Like I feel like there is a chance, even if it's a 15, 20 point comeback in the final 2 minutes. Like I mean, they scored not they had a 9 point comeback in 50 seconds. Like I don't know what to believe is impossible with this team. They
Yeah.
can do anything. It feels. Um, but yeah, this second half from them it was really spectacular. They were just taking good shots consistently. They had a fast paced offense, and their defense really was locking up. They had 66 second half points, and in that fourth quarter specifically, Nemhard had 8 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. He really stepped up huge for them. And then Haliburton, like he always does, comes up in the final shot and sinks it like he has done in every series so far. But like it's like you said earlier, it's not just Haliburton stepping up in these fourth quarters, at least scoring wise. I mean, he's really leading the offense. In these fourth quarters, he always hits a last shot, but he doesn't have 10, 15 points to really lead the charge. It's a lot of the other quote unquote role players for them, but he's the one who's bringing up the ball, getting the assists or getting the hockey assists, whatever it is. And he led that offense, but Nemhard was a huge reason for why they were able to make that comeback.
Yeah, Nemhard initiated a lot of the offense throughout most of the second half. I feel like because Halliburton he didn't really like deal great with the ball pressure that the Thunder brought on him,
Hmm.
and I don't think his like creating off the dribble is as great as like most people in his like echelon of like a top 10 to 15 player.
Yeah.
He obviously runs such an efficient offense, so you always want the ball in his hands. But like Nemhard initiated a lot of it during the comeback, and I kind of think that he's become like he's so underpaid. I think I forget what his deal is. It's something like 4 years, 60 something million or
Yeah,
something.
I think he's making like 15 million. That sounds right.
Yeah, so like for someone who can initiate an offense versus the best defense probably of like this century, maybe.
Hmm.
It's just like incredible that they have him, and then obviously Neesmith hit some big threes. Turner hit the two threes in the fourth quarter. Like even when Halliburton doesn't have a great game, the other guys keep him afloat, and then he always shows up when he's needed to. So it kind of
Mhm.
just works out perfectly for the team.
So he signed a 3-year, 58 million, but that's still 19 million a year. That's honestly pretty cheap for him. Like I mean, he's the third best player on this team, or yeah, third or fourth. I could lean
I
him
would put
over.
him third.
Yeah, I would lean him over
Yeah.
Miles Turner. Um, he's just been so consistently a great offensive player for them, and he's a good defender too. He's been the lead guard defender on Brunson and Mitchell and Dame when he was playing for the few games, and now he's guarding Shea. And I mean, he hasn't like he didn't do great because the Pacers play a lot of man-to-man defense, and like Shea's just the best ISO player in the
Yeah.
league, like by far. Um, and so like Shea got to his, which even I don't feel like Shea even had his best game possible. He had a great game, but like he missed a lot of relatively easy shots that he should have made. And
Yeah.
like that last shot, he again like you kind of have to make that shot. You got to put them away in that moment, or at least put yourself up three to feel a little more comfortable. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. And I mean,
outside of Shea, it's just somebody has to step up. I mean, Chet had a terrible game. J-Dub had a terrible game, and like Case and Wallace. I mean, he was a plus minus is kind of questionable, but like he was a game low minus 13 in this game. And he was kind of getting hunted a bit in that first half. I felt like he was getting a little better as it went on. Like that second half, he was solid, but his shot wasn't really falling either. And so if all of these other players, I mean, Dort's shot was falling pretty well. I will say that. But somebody has to step up in this game outside of Shea, who had I think 38 points and it was relatively efficient. But a game where Shea scores 38 and not a single other player in the game scores 20 and you lose, that's unbelievable.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the Kason point first because I actually like them starting him over Hartenstein because one of the
Oh,
things
100%.
yeah, before we like when we were gonna do our pre-series podcast, the big thing I wanted to talk about was Hartenstein because obviously in the Knicks Pacers series last year, he got completely destroyed on the pick and pops by Turner. So I figured that this wasn't going to be a real like big Hartenstein series too,
Hmm.
and it was kind of interesting to see Diagonal like make the change before any because obviously he's a great coach, so he saw the same things that most
Yep.
like people were seeing, but it was good to see him make that change. Kason didn't play a great game, but like I
Hmm.
think that it was the right move, and he's just going to trust the process. I'd be surprised if Hartenstein starts, but he played really good when he got in. But like,
Yeah, Hartenstein played really well this game. I was a little surprised by that because he didn't play much in the two games we played against the Pacers this season. Chet was out for both of them, and so Hartenstein had to play a bigger role. But I think in the second game he only played I think 14 minutes. I think it was, um, because we were running small ball a lot against them, and I think Jay Will played a ton in that game. And so I was a little weary on how much Hartenstein was gonna get minutes this game or this series, and I think he had 19 minutes I think in game one, and he played really solid, especially with Chet. I mean, Chet was just brutal this game. He was not even looking at the rim at times. He missed a wide open layup at one point. In that first dunk he had, I was thinking like this was going to be a great Chet game. I was kind of excited.
mhm,
Maybe he was going to be really aggressive, and then he just like stopped like he just completely stopped on offense. It was just very strange. And a few things I will say about Dagnall, um, he tends to not want to make changes like we saw last year with Giddy starting the 82 games and then starting so late into the playoffs where I think he finally got benched in game 5 or game 4 of the Mavs series last year where it was every single game people were saying please take Giddy out of the lineup, he cannot play. I mean the regular season especially in the playoffs. And in this series I was a little worried that he was going to start Hartenstein until the point where maybe we're down 2-1 or something and now he makes a change.
mhm,
And we saw 0 double big line minutes this game, that was pretty shocking. I think it's the correct
yeah,
decision because the Pacers like will hunt the double big, and like we saw it against Jared Allen, we saw it against Mitchell Robinson and Cat and Brunson a bit because he's not a great defender. We saw it against Brook Lopez. Like Haliburton will find those mismatches against those big centers, and he'll hunt them and score on them relentlessly. But I was just a little surprised that they went with 0 double big lineup when they did it all season long.
yeah. I think them going away from it was kind of interesting, but it makes sense because like the Pacers thrive off the mismatch hunting. Obviously, I mean, even against the Bucks, they hunted out Giannis on the perimeter because they know that he couldn't hang around with Haliburton out there.
Mhm.
But the Thunder, like, if they're not playing the double bigs, they really don't have a weak, like, defender you can attack. Like,
100%.
you have a few Isaiah Joe minutes and a few Wiggins minutes, but, even like even that's like 3 to 5 minutes really. And, like, outside of those minutes, you never have a bad defender on the floor. Like, the worst one is probably Shea, but, like, Shea is nowhere near bad enough
Yeah.
to.
And he's so lengthy and handsy that like you can hunt Shea a bit because like you will get scores on him like from time to time, but like he will also end up turning you over 2 or 3 times throughout the game. So
Yeah.
like it's a give and take with him. Yeah, I really like the Chet at 5 lineup. I mean, Chet at 4 just kind of like it locks up his offense a bit and to a degree his defense as well. Um, I've always been a proponent of him staying at the 5, and I think when Hartenstein eventually goes off the team in a year or two, we'll see Chet permanent 5 again, which I'm very excited for because I love Chet at the 5. It's always been my preferred spot for him. Not to say that I dislike the double big because rebounding was such a horrible thing for us last season when we didn't have a quote unquote real center. Um,
Mhm.
but whatever. Back to the game. Um, a few other things that I had. I mean, Ben Shepherd. I hope Carlisle just goes away. Him and AJ Mitchell for the Thunder. Like both of those guys were like I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe just test out as many players that can get minutes in this series. But I
Yeah.
think both of them were not very good in this game. I mean, Ben Shepherd had 3 fouls in his first 5 minutes in this game, and like was just getting hunted on defense. I think that he's probably not going to see much burn throughout this series, and I hope AJ Mitchell same thing. He had 3 offensive rebounds, which is awesome. He came out really aggressive, and then he just like put up 3 terrible shots afterwards. Um, so yeah, I hope like it just he doesn't need to play. It was unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he even got that much of a leash. Like, I guess they were trying to find some like offensive spark from him because, like, I mean, he was really good at UC Santa Barbara. He was a very good like mid-major player, but
Mhm.
I'm not really sure what he's doing on the NBA Finals court. And then Shepard, I mean, like, Shepard's not bad. He's obviously he was a really good defender on Brunson, but I just don't think that he matches up well with Shea because like he doesn't have as much of like a length advantage on Shea compared to Brunson, and that's kind of
Mhm.
like what helped him like navigate the screen, stay in front of him, not let him get downhill. But he's just not going to do that against Shea, and like if he's not doing that, there's no reason for him to be playing. So because
Yep.
he's like, I think he's maybe their worst. Like I saw a thing, he's like their worst corner shooter,
Yes.
and that's probably where he's going to be sitting. Like,
Yeah, he's the only corner shooter for them who's under 40%.
yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, like if he's not defending at a high level, he's not really impacting the game as much as he really was in the Knicks series, and there's no reason for him to play.
Mhm.
Carlisle, I'm sure, will adjust. He'll either try and figure out what's wrong and try and help Shepard, like put him in better positions, but I'm not really sure what that would do. So it's more likely he's just going to go away from him and probably just shorten the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, like both of these teams are so deep. Both these teams are the two most like bench using teams in the league.
Mhm.
They have basically an entire 5 man rotation and sometimes even more than that they can turn to on the bench. But like it's the NBA finals and especially in the Thunder's case, you're down 0-1 at home now. Like you don't need to run a 10, 11 man rotation. Let's run a 9 at the most, 8 maybe like maybe you
Mhm.
see Isaiah Joe fall out of the lineup like he kind of did in the previous series, or maybe Aaron Wiggins falls out a bit more. I mean, AJ Mitchell, 100%. What are we doing? Like when he came in the second quarter, I was actually shocked because what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's game one and like it's like the most like throwaway game possible in a series, but like it's still a like every game is must win, and so like you can't really be trying out lineups and stuff in the NBA finals. Like you had all however many games you've played so far to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, especially not in the
Yeah,
second quarter. Like
yeah, yeah.
trying it out in the second compared to the like a different time, like the fourth. Like if you're up 15 in the fourth compared to what would they up in the second, like 10 or something?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so like I don't get what changed in the like because they haven't used him. Has he played like a single like first half minute like this whole playoffs?
Like a bit, but not really. I mean, he didn't play that many minutes in this game, but it's also because like
Yeah,
he played like if he was playing a little better, he probably would have played a little more. But he just like
yeah.
wasn't playing well, so they took him out quick. He's played like a little bit in and out. But it's just like it's different when you're playing. the Grizzlies in the first round or like a second round Nuggets or something versus the NBA Finals. Like this is not like this is where the season ends. This is where you win the championship or you lose. And so I don't know. I feel like Dagnall tries to tinker with the lineup a little bit too much and tries to see like what works and what doesn't. And I mean, we saw it even last year. Like he was still changing lineups all the time, and it just I don't know. I didn't love it. Like I mean, last year he was running lineups that had never played together in the playoffs, and I think he
Mm.
did that at one point this year too. And it's just like it's so risky because if there isn't like I mean they hadn't had any minutes to gel with each other and figure out. I mean, they've played with each other already, so like they they do have that gelling already. But like with this 5-man rotation, it's different than when just one or two of them have already played with each other.
Yeah, like every different 5-man rotation, you have different people who like they operate better in specific areas on the court, and like
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to like match that synergy on the fly, especially in a like high intensity game. Like in a regular season game, you have time to like try and figure it out. But in the playoffs, if you give up 3, 4 possessions trying to figure out what's wrong, you give up an 8-0 run. So
100%. 100%. Yeah, and that could be the death of you. Like NATO run, especially with the Pacers, like you give them an inch, they will take it 20 miles sometimes, and like
yeah.
I mean, we saw it in the fourth quarter. Like I said, a 12-2 run and a 10-2 run. That's insanity, and especially I think the 12-2 run was at the end of the game. It was like the final 3 minutes of the game. The Thunder just like that clutch offense. It's been a problem for them all season long, and they barely
Mm.
had any clutch games this season because of how much they were just blowing teams out of the water in the regular season. And so,
Yeah.
that was really my only worry going to the playoffs with this team. I had them winning the finals, but my only worry was that in these clutch games, because it is an inevitability in the playoffs, you will get into clutch moments. Like our offense turns into just like stand around and let Shea drive to the paint and get a shot up, or like he's gonna take a bunch of step back mid ranges and threes, and like people are just gonna pack the paint and they're gonna let Caruso or Cason Wallace or Chet or whatever like in the perimeter shoot those shots, which they aren't even bad shots and bad shooters, but like it's better than Shea having the ball. Um, and yeah, you like the Pacers have so many different guys that they can turn to. It's consistently Haliburton on the final shot, but like you had Nemhard hitting that big three on Shea, and he's had multiple other moments throughout the playoffs. Or Neesmith
Yeah.
went crazy against the Knicks in that one game. Like they have other guys that can turn to hit those big shots. Where, like I said, the Thunder is just it's Shea or we die, and that's really not a winning formula at all.
Yeah, and then I just want to highlight this because we've obviously talked about all the role players, but Siakam has just been so steady. Like anytime their half court offense is just like stagnated, whenever like if Halliburton can't create a good look, anytime
Mhm.
they could just throw it to Siakam, he could take his guy 1-on-1 and get a pretty good shot. Whether it's like that little step back fadeaway he was hitting on Cat, or if he just takes like tries and sizes up Jalen Williams, take him into the post.
Mhm.
And then obviously he had that great putback on the Nemhard miss that pretty much what that cut it to one, I think, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe
so
so. Yeah.
he's just been so consistent and so reliable for them that anytime it breaks down, he's just there to kind of just keep them afloat. And he did it a lot in the Knicks series too. Not as much today. He had a good game, but or yesterday, not as much as the Knicks series, but he was still very like solid yesterday. So
Mhm.
he's kind of like been the unsung hero because he's obviously everyone knows he's good, but he's not like he had that one ballistic game, but besides that, he's just very steady and you don't like you see him drop 25 and it's like, "Oh yeah, like he's supposed to do that," but like it just goes under the radar because he's more expected to do it.
Yeah, I mean he's Eastern Conference Finals MVP. That's a big
Yeah.
deal. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, like you mentioned in the half court, the Pacers are averaging or before this game because I had like so many notes that I took to make a podcast
Mhm.
before the finals, so I'm
Yeah.
touching into a few of those here. Pacers averaged 1.06 points per half court possession, which is the highest of any second round or better team since the 2021 Nets, which is like the KD, Harden,
Yeah,
Kyrie,
yeah.
like they're three of the best half court players ever. Um, and so like they consistently just like will I mean they have so many possessions where the ball does not touch the ground, and it's like the most beautiful form of basketball ever. And like this is just they're just a really winning offense. It's just the best way to put it, where they just consistently will pass the ball over and over again and find like wait until somebody will get open. People will keep making cuts. Siakam will do these like the half screens where like the touch screens where he like is so good at getting low and fading away off of them and getting mismatches. Like they will get mismatches consistently. They will get the open man consistently, and they're such a good 3-point shooting team. The Thunder leave the corner three open more than any other team in the league, and the Pacers are
Yeah.
maybe the best corner shooting team in the entire league. You mentioned it earlier with Shepard shooting below 40, but they have three guys shooting over 50, and Miles Turner shot 60% from the corner. Like that is just unbelievable. And the Thunder, like the way that they leave, like quote unquote, leave these threes open is they'll be open while they're starting to catch the ball and shoot it, but then like the Thunder player will just charge at them full sprint and like lunge at them, and so
Yeah,
it's
like a
like
nice like leg
technically
closeout.
open, but it's like so much pressure because if you wait, you know, 0.2 seconds more to get that shot off, it's getting blocked, and so or like super contested, and so like it's open, but it's not really open, and so it's gonna be going into the series. My thoughts were like Pacers could get a lot of upsets in the series if they can hit those shots. And in this game, you saw Obi Toppin hit 5 threes, and you saw a lot of
Yeah.
in that third quarter they hit 4 corner threes. Like that's the kind of stuff that they're going to need to win this series, and it's what they used to win game one. I mean, I don't expect Obi Toppin to hit 5 threes again, but I don't. I also think it's fair to say that you don't expect Lou Dort to hit 5 threes again. So there's a bit of a trade off there.
Yeah, I think that like the overall, I think the process of the Thunder was just better. I feel like they got pretty much like pretty high quality shots relative to the Pacers, but the Pacers
Hmm.
have lived off of outperforming their shot quality all playoffs pretty much. I don't have
Yeah.
the shot quality in front of me, but
No, I know
I
what
would
you're
have
saying
to
though. Yeah.
assume yeah, I'd have to assume the Thunder had a better like quality of shot. And I mean Shea had a obviously you talked about Shea having a lot of gimmies. Chet, I mean, around the rim, he kind of really struggled when they like allowed more physicality.
Yeah.
Um, and
He
then
wasn't
J
he wasn't even
Dub,
getting on
I
the
mean,
boards much either. Like it was just I think he had 6 points and 6 boards, I think, in about 24 minutes, which that's another thing. Only 24 minutes for Chet is unbelievable. I don't care if he is 0 for 10. Play him. What are we doing?
yeah, yeah, I mean, besides the fact that he just had like gives him such a high floor defensively because of his rim protection, like
Hmm.
he'll pull Turner away from the rim. Not that Turner, like I mean, kind of has a little bit of a reputation defender label at this point, but he's still a good defender. He's still 7'1" and has a lot of length to alter Shea's shots at the rim. So if Chet can pull him away or get open threes because of Shea pressuring the rim and pulling him off of
Hmm.
Chet, it's just much better offense than what the Thunder half court offense looks like outside of Shea.
Yeah, it's like I mean the small ball versus small ball lineup. Both these teams are top of the league in running small ball efficiency, scoring, whatever. And the Thunder are the best team in the league at it. So I really thought that that was going to be a huge winning point for them this series, where we saw it for a couple weeks in this season where J Dub was running center and they were winning game after
Yeah.
game. He was like elite at center, which was that was such a fun time this season for a Thunder fan. But I really thought that was going to be such a strong point for this team. And down the stretch, you saw in the last couple like 3 or 4 minutes of the game, both of these teams ran small ball, and the Pacers smoked them. I think they were a +7 in the small ball minutes,
Yeah.
which that shocking to me. Like I really thought that that was going to be maybe the strongest point for the Thunder to win this series, and it wasn't at all.
Yeah, I know, in our pre-series podcast, the one thing I really wanted to touch on with the Thunder was, J-Dub, like, that small ball, versatility he gives, because I thought if they went to benching Hartenstein, I thought that J-Dub would be the best matchup to put on Turner,
Mhm.
so that you could switch, the screens with he goes out and guards Haliburton, and then
Yeah,
Haliburton's primary, which would probably be what, Dort or Caruso? Uh,
yeah, probably Dort.
yeah,
Dort
so
played him a
Dort
lot in the regular season, which like I must say in game one when they played in the regular season, that was Hallie's lowest usage of the entire season. Like he locked him up in both games really, but yeah,
yeah.
he was fantastic. Like, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I thought it would be a really good idea to put J Dub on Turner because he's big enough to contend with centers, and Turner's not exactly the most physical offensive like post presence. So it's not like they would go and try and throw the ball into him and let him post up. That's really not how they play anyways. But
Mhm.
um putting Halbert or putting J-Dub on Turner so he could switch on to Haliburton because I'd still think that's a great matchup for the Thunder defense. And having Dort switch on to Turner and force like those over the top passes by fronting him, and then they have the guy rotating behind, which they love to do. Would just be like the best way for them to guard the pick and roll because that's what Haliburton creates the most like offense on. I thought that was what they would go to. I honestly don't remember exactly what the Turner matchup was uh, this game, but it'll be interesting to see how they switch it up because I think they're going to do something different to guard Turner after how he played, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against them trying to use some Caruso on him. I mean, we saw Caruso dominate big throughout the entire playoff so far. He really shut down Jaren Jackson. I mean, Jaren Jackson was just like floundering out there at times when
Yeah,
Caruso was on him. Jokic really the same thing, which that was I'll never be not shocked about that. That was just unbelievable how well he did on Jokic. And then in the third series he locked up Julius Randle. I mean, after game 1, not even after the first half of game 1, Julius Randle was pretty terrible in that series. And a big part of that could be attributed to Caruso and somewhat a little bit of Chet, but Chet was on Gobert a lot there. Yeah, so I wouldn't hate to see Caruso on Miles Turner here. I think Chet a little bit, but he was getting big bodied a little bit by Turner, and just like I think you maybe play a little more Hartenstein. I think he played really well in that first game. See, like
yeah,
you don't have to live and you don't have to die on the hill of Hartenstein, but if he's having a good game, play him a little more. If he's having a bad game, maybe he only plays 15 minutes. But I feel like that's a case with a lot of these players. It's just, geez, like J Dub and Chet can't have a bad game at the same time because when they do, we've seen it throughout this entire playoffs. When they have bad games, it's like almost guaranteed loss for the Thunder.
yeah.
But when they're on, like besides that one game where J Dub was on and Shea had a kind of a shaky game, so they ended up losing against the Nuggets. I think it was game 3. Like if they are on, this team is nobody almost in NBA history can mess with them. Like they will consistently blow teams out of the water. And like I'm on one I really don't even know how to feel looking ahead towards game 2. Like I don't even know like on one hand the fan in me and also like the NBA fan of like looking at the preview, like losing game 1 to the Nuggets, then we end up winning by almost 40 in game 2. Like a part of me thinks we're all right, we're about to win by 20. We're about to blow them out of the water because we're such a like to a degree we're a much better team than the Pacers are. We should stop
Mhm.
them out after a pretty heartbreaking loss. But this Pacers team like doesn't get blown out. They are so like consistently good. I mean, they kind of got blown out by the Cavs in the one game, so I guess it's possible. But like, it's I don't know. I'm a little wary to say that we're gonna be able to really put our foot down on their neck and stomp them out.
Yeah, because like ideally, like a blowout or a great game against the Pacers would be like controlling them and beating them by 20. But I mean,
Mhm.
the Thunder were on pace to do that for like 3 quarters of this game, and like
Yeah.
that. I mean, look how that turned out. So it's like, yeah, the other blowout the Pacers had is Game 5 in the Garden. They
Oh,
lost by
true.
I think like 30. But yeah, but
Yeah.
like besides that, they really don't get blown out, and like I do think the Thunder are gonna like come out and I mean I think J Dub or Chet, one of the two, is gonna have to just play a lot better. But if they do, I think
Mhm.
they'll win by 20. But like it's not really a given because Chet struggled with Turner on defense, and then J Dub struggled with Neesmith. So it's not
Yeah.
really like they just have to be better. It's not like they had great shots and got unlucky. Like they
Mhm.
both struggled to create like good looks for themselves. So
Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
it'll
It's not as simple as just they were missing shots.
Yeah, like for Shea, that's kind of it. Like he could have easily had 40 or 45 with the shots he had, and like
No
I think
doubt.
he'll keep doing that. But like outside of him, they just like I don't really know where the secondary creation like comes from. Like maybe that's what they were trying to find with AJ Mitchell, but like I don't think that's where you turn for it. And like I mean, Caruso and Dort both had like pretty great offensive games relative to what you expect, and like
Mhm.
if they couldn't capitalize on that, it's like if the Pacers defense just settles in because they settled in the second half. If they continue what they're doing, it's really hard to like envision a Thunder blowout.
Yeah. I mean, you saw it all season long. Really, it's just like they didn't necessarily need that secondary creator. I mean, J Dub was that for a lot of the season, but like Shea was just so dominant against every single team, and so like they didn't that secondary creator wasn't really that necessary. And AJ Mitchell like around December, January time until he got hurt, he really was showing that he could be that backup point guard for them. He was awesome for like a 2 month stretch in the regular season, and then he got hurt, and he was out until all the way up until the first round basically. And like it's tough to have your rookie season get thrown off for half the season, and then you get thrown into the playoffs, and like you're playing spot minutes. Like here's 5 minutes, maybe no more. It's no more than 10 minutes really for any game, and so it's tough to
Yeah.
get into any sort of groove. Especially you're thrown into the NBA Finals, right? Here's 2 minutes. Like if you miss two layups, you're getting subbed out for the rest of the game. Like that's a lot of pressure. Um, I'm sure he feels that with like every shot and every dribble he takes. Like it's like I need to make this if I'm going to play another minute, or even maybe another game. And so, like it's they're really missing that secondary creator. And if J Dub's having a bad game, like such a hole in a sinking ship. Like it Shea is such a good offensive player, but I don't know if like, he is even good enough to patch that up because one player cannot lead an offense in 2025 to like especially in the playoffs. Like we saw it with Giannis. Like he could average 35, 15 and 6 or whatever Giannis averaged, and you're still going to lose a series if you are surrounded by players who are having bad games.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously going back to Giannis, like, they even had a good AJ Green series, and, like, Trent played pretty well for the
He
most
played
part, and, like,
amazing for like 2 3 games.
yeah, he was good for the 2, 3 games. He was kind of iffy in the other 2, but still, that's a great Trent series for what they're
Hmm.
paying him. Like, I think he's on, like, the mid-level, and, like,
Yeah.
they really never even had a shot in that series, so it's
Hmm.
like, if Shea is scoring 40 a game, but no one else is getting 20, like, the
Yep.
Pacers are gonna probably score 100, and, like, it's gonna be hard for you to get 100 if no one has more than 20. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. It's
Mhm.
just it's tough because I like, going into this, I was just like, "The Thunder are gonna win." Like, I don't because they're just so, like they're so much better just efficiency-wise, but, like,
Mhm.
when you get down to the matchups and you realize, like, it's not really a great matchup for the Thunder, like, even like, and they killed them in the turnover. I don't know what the Thunder turnover differential was, but I'm sure it was probably around plus 8 to 10.
It ended up being I have it here 24-6. Like
24 so plus 18.
unbelievable. Yeah, I
'Cause,
have
like
another stat here.
yeah.
Let me have it all in my bookmarks. This is the first time in playoff history that one team had 25 plus turnovers because some people were saying it was 25, some people were saying it was 24. So I don't know if it
Mhm.
was 25 or 24, but whatever. Like according to this, the first time in playoff history where one team had 25 plus turnovers, the other and held the opponent to 7 turnovers or fewer, and like that was just the first time that ever happened. And then not only that, the Pacers won in those circumstances.
Yeah.
Like that is just so unbelievable. It's the Pacers it feels like almost every game, and at the minimum every series, are doing something that has just like it's just so mind blowing and has just never even been fathomable before. It really it's so cool. Like I don't for all these people that were saying this was gonna be a bad series or like the ratings or whatever, like just shut up. Like this was
Yeah.
like if you love the sport, this is going to be such a fun series, and I feel like that was always obvious. Like such a high powered offense, the best offense in the league versus the best defense in the league, like such a turnover prone offense or such a turnover prone defense, like getting turnovers versus an offense that gives up none. It like this was just a clash of real like two juggernauts, and like I was so excited about this series. I mean, these are two of my favorite teams, two of my favorite players in Haliburton and Shea, and
Mhm.
like this is just I'm super upset that we lost game one, but like I have so many mixed emotions about it because I really do love both of these teams, and it's been such a fun. I mean, it's such a fun playoffs, and it was such a good game that like I just hope that we keep getting banger games after banger games.
Yeah, I get it. Like, it's tough to appreciate how good the game was because your team was on the wrong end
Definitely,
of it.
yeah. Like I'm
But
seeing all these reactions of people like freaking out when Halliburton hit the shot and stuff, and like my reaction was just like, oh my god, I cannot believe we just lost that way. Like I feel the exact. I'm sure I feel the exact same way that you did, or you're a Pelicans fan, but like when like other people did when the Knicks won or
yeah.
when the Knicks lost. I mean, or the Bucks or the Cavs. Like it's just everyone out. Like I was that fan the last three series when he was hitting those shots, like running around screaming like, oh my god, he did it again. But now that it's against my team, it's definitely very different.
Yeah, I thought I kinda undersold the Pacers in this series. I mean, but it was always going to be a good like the games were always going to be good because the Pacers are very well coached and they
Hmm.
play like that very distinct style. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really it wasn't never going to be like a third like a Memphis series where they win 2 or 3 games by like 30.
Yeah. Not
Like
at all.
that's kind of what people thought it was going to be. It was never going to be that, but like I
No.
did expect
Yeah.
I was going to say I did expect the Thunder. I think I picked them in 5 uh
I
to
had them in
win.
6.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, it doesn't surprise me 5-6 really, but, like, I mean, honestly, after game 1, it really could go 7, like, taking it in OKC and, like,
Yeah.
it's not even like the Pacers played, like, probably like a pretty, like, low percentile level game, like, maybe this is, like, their 10th percentile outcome, like,
Hmm.
it's not like they had a particularly great game. They had great shooting, but, like, the turnovers, you never expect them to turn the ball over that much again, um
Hmm.
and Haliburton, I don't think that Haliburton's going to have as good a series as he has in the East, but like I don't expect him to ever have 14 and 6 again in a game. So it's
Yeah.
just interesting that they were obviously the inferior team on paper, but they managed to win a game that they played bad in. Like
Hmm.
this is kind of a killer for the Thunder because this is a game you have to win if you're win the turnover differential that much and you get 40 from or almost 40 from Shea. Like
Yeah.
you would never think that they lose this game. And then but then if you tell me Dort is the second leading scorer with 15, I'm like, okay, they probably lost. So
Hmm. Yeah, but it really is unbelievable. Like, he scores 38 points, and not a single other player, like I said earlier, not a single other player scored 20 in the entire game, and you're telling me they lost? I would have called you insane if you told me that before the game started.
yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm all right. I'll throw a bunch of stats and stuff from this game.
Mhm.
All right. So since tracking began in 1997, no one has ever hit more than 2 shots to tie or take the lead in the last 5 seconds of a single playoff run. Haliburton has done it 4 out of 4 times this playoffs, like I mentioned before. Just
Yeah.
so unreal. I mean, it. We've never seen it in one playoff run. Somebody cement themselves as like, I mean, one of the most clutch players ever this quickly. Like, it's unbelievable. They showed the stat like a bunch of times throughout the playoffs of like game winners or yeah, I think it was game winners or game tires or like both in the, like in the playoffs since 1997 or 98 or whatever.
Yeah. And
It's
he's
Braun
already
with
third on the
8.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Reggie Miller who had 4 or 5, and then
Yeah,
Halliburton
him
who
and
also has 5. Like, it's
yeah.
just
And
just
Haliburton's
insane.
5 for 6. He's
Yeah, like
5 for 6 on attempted game tires or game winners.
yeah, it's so unreal. Um, he's 13 for 15 on game winning slash tying shots in the final 2 minutes of games this season. Like, just
Mhm.
unreal. Um, Oklahoma City, they lost to an Eastern Conference team at home for the first time since March 12th, 2024, nearly 15 months ago, against the Indiana Pacers, which is just also like a little poetic. But like, I mean, they
Yeah.
dominated. They only lost one game against the Eastern Conference this series. I mean, so this season, which is the most or the least ever. Like,
Mhm.
it's just so many crazy stats here. And then this one is probably the craziest. The Pacers now have a win in every round with this probability: 0.3%, 2.1, 4.1, and 2.6. And if you add up all of those, it is a 1 in 1.5 million chance to win all 4. Like,
Yeah.
that's just, how can you how can you watch that and then say like, "Oh, this is boring," or like like how can you watch that and dislike it? Like, that is awesome.
Yeah, they've been involved in so many, like, just great games this playoffs. It's like, I don't know, I don't get the whole hate of, like, the Pacers in general. I just don't get why people are upset, like, saying that this was not a finals worthy team, like, they obviously were, but
100%, no doubt about it. I mean, since January 1st, they were the second best team win percentage wise, versus like, and the Thunder were the first team. When like for 3 quarters of the season, they were on a 60 win pace with Haliburton playing. I mean, obviously, like the first like month or two, they were not good, but after
yeah.
that, like, they have been just fantastic week after week, game after game. They have been beating teams that they should not have been beating according to like the pregame stats. It's I mean, even this game, like Scott Van Pelt said in his interview with Haliburton after the game, like, all of my notes before going into this game were about the Thunder winning this game, and now here you are sitting with me. Like, that is just that's like what they've been doing all playoffs, all season long. I don't get how people can hate this team. Um,
Yeah.
Shea, 38, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, the most points in a finals debut since Allen Iverson in '01. I mean, he's. I feel like Shea's this playoff run, whether he hopefully wins. I mean, if he wins the finals, it'll really cement his all time legacy a lot more than if he loses it. But if
Hmm.
they lose a series, like it's gonna be hard to believe that it's gonna be on Shea. Like I
Yeah.
really against this team. I mean, this was I have the what his regular season averages against them were
Yeah. You averaged 39.
39, 7 and 8 on 71 true shooting. Like
Yeah.
unreal. He that was I think this was I had top 5 against any of his other opponents. This might have been his best like team he played against all year, besides like maybe like the Wizards or something. Like he, man, it's just like this team because they play so much man to man. They rarely run zone. I mean, I felt like they barely ran zone at all in game one. They were really
Yeah.
letting like their guys, run isos, which was pretty shocking. I mean, they ended up winning, so like all power to them. But that I did not think that that was going to be a winning recipe for them at all. But like because of that, Shea is like he's really going to get off consistently game after game this series. I would be kind of surprised if he has any bad games unless they switch it up and go zone heavy or something, or really change the looks that he's getting. Which I don't really know what they could change. Like maybe put Neesmith on him, but then now J Dub's going to have a big size mismatch on Nemhard. It like
Yeah.
it's I don't really see what they're gonna do. Like they're gonna have to continue to stop J Dub and Chet because Shea's just gonna get his 35 on good efficiency. It feels like probably every night.
Yeah, I think the only real alternative if they go to Neesmith on Shea would probably be putting Siakam on J-Dub, um,
Yeah.
which I think that would be the best case scenario, like, if they do that switch. I don't think they're going to, though. I really think they're just gonna live with the result of whatever Nembhard does on Shea, um, and kind of do, like, the whole like, what teams try and do with Jokic too, with, like, they let him get one-on-one looks, but take away everyone else. Don't let them get in a rhythm so
Yeah.
that if Jokic, like, wears out down the stretch, Porter's out of rhythm, Jamal's out of rhythm, Gordon has, like he has, like, a couple of back cuts, but that's really it. He's
Hmm.
not in rhythm shooting, like, off the catch, and,
Totally.
like, I think they're just gonna live and die with Shea ISOs. Even if he gets, like, 40, no one else gets more than 20, like, you
Hmm.
feel good about your chances of winning, so
Definitely.
I yeah, I figured they probably told them not to help, like, especially off of J-Dub and Chet because they know that if they get in a rhythm,
Hmm.
like, off ball scoring, that could help, like, give them more confidence taking them off the dribble and scoring on ball. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably I think that's just Carlisle's system, just don't let them anyone get going but Shea, and,
Hmm.
like, I mean, it worked so far. We'll see what game 2
Yeah.
holds, but
Outside of Turner, they weren't really helping. Like I mean, Turner was helping at the rim a little bit, but Shea was getting to the rim. I mean, like he started out this game, his first drive, he got like already into the restricted zone before he saw like anybody else, and that was consistent throughout the entire game. Like I feel like that might be consistent throughout the entire series, which like that's insane. He's getting to the paint with so much, with just such ease. Like he's just
yeah.
walking there. It's pretty incredible. Um, but yeah, like you said, they're not really helping much. Which is Shea's going to be able to get to the rim consistently, and he needs to hit those layups like almost at 100% rate if he's going to get one-on-one coverages, especially against Nemhard, who's like considerably smaller than him, like in height and uh, arm length. Like he has to be able to have his perfect touch and make those layups with consistency or dunks, whatever he does. And I mean, Shea, like the way he gets a lot of these his assists is, I mean, he's not the best passer in the league. He's a solid passer, no doubt, but like a lot of it is because of his leverage that he brings in. So many guys will, two or three people crash into
Yeah.
him, and then he kicks out to the corner, or he kicks out to the wing as he's driving in. And like you said, if they're not helping off, a lot of those assists goes away, and that's how he. I mean, how many assists did he have in this game? He
I think he had, like,
three
2 or
assists.
3. Yeah,
Yeah, like
3.
that's how you're gonna stop him in this offense is like you said, if you don't let J Dub and Chet get going by kicking out to those open threes, like it's really gonna limit them. And J Dub, I mean, that first quarter he had that one like pull up three on Siakam, that was beautiful. But then he like didn't really show that kind of aggression after that. Um,
Yeah.
like I hope that I mean a lot of his shots weren't falling, so like hopefully he can just have better efficiency and like get better looks next game. I mean they really need it. Um, but whatever. The last two things that I have. The only players with 4+ steals and 5+ threes in a finals game, Lou Dort and Kawhi Leonard, which is kind of cool. Like Lou Dort had a really solid game. I mean, he really like locked up Haliburton pretty considerably. Um, and like he was hitting his shots very well. He had, I think, his own personal 9-0 run. Um, like
Yeah.
he was awesome in this game. And then Jalen Williams is set to become, or this was before the game, is the first player to be an All-Star, All-NBA player, and All-Defensive player, and play in the finals in the same season in his third or earlier season since Bill Walton in 76-77. Like he's J-Dub's on pretty, all-time pace as well to like be one of the best perimeter, like I mean, sort of 3-and-D, but like he offers so much more than just 3-point shooting on offense. Um,
Yeah.
like it feels like his defense is still the most underrated part of his game. He really is one of the
Yeah.
best defenders in the league, and like I don't feel like it's any sort of bias to say that at all. He can lock up centers or point guards or wings. Like it's pretty incredible what he can do, and he offers so much versatility for this team. He just like the shot has to it has to fall a little more for next game. Um, anything else from game one that you want to touch on?
Oh, the one play I want to talk about was the Matherin block on J-Dub.
Oh yeah,
That was such a well, it was a disgusting block, but it was like
yeah, that was
such a
nasty.
turning point. Like I feel like that's where Indiana got the confidence that like we
Definitely,
can beat them.
definitely.
Um and I mean, I was talking to my brother about Matherin. He was, I mean, he had a couple games in the first two rounds, but up until like the game three of the Knicks series, he was like pretty much just a complete like non-factor.
Yeah, he
Um,
wasn't playing well in the playoffs.
yeah, and he's so skilled, so athletic, and he has like that mentality of like he believe like he's confident in himself. It was like just kind of weird that he wasn't good, and then ever since that he turned it on. He was obviously great in the last like the second half of the Knicks series, and then he was pretty impactful today. Um, I don't know how many points he had, but his defense. I know he was on Schaefer uh, parts of the game, and
Hmm.
he was really like physical with him. And obviously
Yeah,
they let a lot of contact go, but I thought
yeah,
his impact
which
the
they
last
should.
his impact the last like four games compared to what he was doing in the earlier in the playoffs, like it's just
Hmm.
such like a night and day difference, and that's been like really big for them to get him like back in the swing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, like in the last game against the Knicks, he wasn't very good, but in game 5 and 4, 23-9, and then in game 4 he had 20 points.
Mhm.
In the Cleveland series, he had 19 and 20 points in back-to-back game or 23 points in back-to-back games. Like he has a lot. He's had a maybe even more low games than good games, but the games that he's been good have been like almost guaranteed wins for the Pacers. Like
Yeah,
he has just been so on it scoring, and even when he's not scoring 20 points a game, he's still affecting the game. Like you said, he was a really solid defender in this game, and then like he's been crashing the boards a bit. He's been even passing a little more than it feels like he's maybe used to. Um,
yeah,
like yeah, it's just like he's been a good spark plug off the bench for them in the playoffs, which like I mean we saw last year he missed the entire playoffs, and so like it kind of was a bit of a question mark of where he was going to fit on this team going into the future, because you see a lot of the time when a team can make a deep run without a solid player, especially a guy that is coming up for a payday, um, and like they make a run to the playoffs without him, they kind of just fall out of the rotation in the following season, or they even get traded because they just feel like, all right, we don't really need you. And
yeah,
he was able to fit right back into the team after last season, and he had a really solid regular season, and then like goes into the playoffs and like I said, a little up and down, but his games that he's been on, he's been just like the second or third best player on the Pacers. And it's been pretty incredible to watch that he's like has found his role, the way he has.
yeah. I think that's really all I had written down. I don't know if you had any last notes or stats you wanted to talk about, or if you wanted to.
Like I mean most of the stuff kind of got answered from game one. Like I was a little, Siakam was playing about 36 minutes a game, and so I was thinking, like, I was curious to see if he was gonna step up a little more, because like like when he goes off, the Pacers defense is kind of not good, a lot of
Yeah,
time.
it
But he
drops
played,
like 10 to 12 points per 100.
yeah, like he played 35 minutes this game, so I guess like they're just gonna stick with it and play their. I mean, they ended up playing what? one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 10 players this game. Like that's kind of insane. And I mean, the Thunder played, I think, about the same 3, 6. They played okay. They played 11 people. Like that's unreal. Why is Kenrich Williams got 0 minutes and somehow was a -2? I don't know how that's even possible. Um,
Yeah, I think he was in the last like
he,
couple seconds of the first
yeah,
quarter because I remember he hung on the rim after the
yeah.
end of the first quarter. But
Yeah, like I mean, like we said earlier, like AJ Mitchell just like shouldn't play. And I guess the one thing I want to say, Casey Wallace played 33 minutes. That needs to get stepped back a little bit. Like if he's at like 27 ish, like I think that's better. Because Caruso played 28, Hartenstein played 17. Like I think those can get upticked a little bit. I mean, Chet Holmgren played 24. That needs to be like Chet needs to play 30 minutes minimum every game, like at the
mhm,
very least, and he probably should play more than that. You know, Shea
yeah,
played 40, Dort played 36, Jado played 36. There's no reason Chet shouldn't be right up there with them. Maybe a little less, but like about the exact same mark. He was like the last couple games in that Minnesota series. He really showed that he was getting back into the groove of like his defensive abilities and his offensive abilities at times too. Because he missed 50 games this regular season, so he was kind of out of it. Like he never really was able to get into his groove all season long like everybody else. And so
mhm,
that's kind of what he's doing in the playoffs now. And he showed that last series. And I mean, I get he had a bad game, but like you can't turn away from him. He's your best defender, and he's by far your best rim defender. The Pacers were getting to the rim pretty easily at the end of the game there. It's like I feel like they really missed his defense, and geez, I didn't like that call from Dagnall. But all right, that's really all that I have from this game. I guess yeah.
mhm.
All right, that's all. We can take a quick break and then head into our next few topics. All right, moving on to the losers of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals. Yeah, I didn't get to do a podcast about that, so I mean, we'll probably touch a little bit on the conference finals, but not too much. This is more so focused on the Knicks and Timberwolves offseason outlook. Where do we go from here? I mean, Tibbs got fired. That's probably the best way to start it out. Um,
Yeah.
what do what do you think the Knicks do from here with the new coach hiring, potential lineup changes that come with the new coach? What happens from going into next season? Do you think?
It's kind of tough. I mean, I don't really know what direction they want to go with the coach. I'm like, guessing that Malone, Jay Wright, maybe Dan Hurley if they can get him out of UConn, but I think that's
I don't think so.
unlikely.
I'm
Yeah, so
I
like,
I'll interject here about the coach. The reports I was seeing like a day or two after he got fired, there was like a list of people that got rumored. Like there was I can't remember his name. It was one of the Cavs assistants who's like been rumored for a solid bit of head coaching jobs now.
is it
Jason
the one
Kidd.
that went to the Suns? The
No,
what's
no,
his
no,
name?
no.
O'Brien or something?
Yeah,
Or
no, it's a different guy. But that
uh,
guy's been pretty rumored for a few teams too. Um,
yeah.
so Jason Kidd
Oh yeah,
leaving the
kid. Yeah.
Mavericks has been like kind of rumored for the Knicks, and then um, another one, Ime Udoka leaving the Rockets. Which that one seems super unlikely. Like that just would seem kind of
Yeah.
insane to me. I don't know why he would want to leave the Rockets. Like they have a better future, and like he's built a really good thing there. So I don't know why he would want to leave there. But Jason Kidd kind of makes a lot of sense, especially Luka leaving. Maybe he's unhappy. So yeah. Anyway, go on with what do you think the Knicks do from here?
Yeah, so I don't know if this rumor has much credibility, but I saw something about a kid Giannis, like they're trying to trade for Giannis, bring kid back because they
Yeah,
obviously work together. But I really don't see the Giannis trade happening.
not for the Knicks.
I yeah, I just I don't think that the Bucks would really want Cat like
Hmm.
for any reason, and it's not like the Knicks have any young asset that they'd want to like center a rebuild around. They don't have any picks because of the Mikal trade. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
think the
like
Knicks,
you're looking at like Tyler Kolek or Pacom Dadier. Like it's like if I'm the Bucks,
yeah, like
like that, not like those like Dadier is a first rounder, so like he's technically like he should be quote unquote worth a first rounder, but like I, he's not to me. Like I wasn't even that high on him as a prospect. I don't even think he's that good. Like, and I get the
yeah,
Knicks are like, especially with Tibbs, like he doesn't play the rookies at all. So I mean, you have enough. Like you don't even have a baseline to go off of how good he is in the NBA. Um, that's just the kind that's just a throw into the trade. That's not really making me like, oh wait, I really like that piece. You know?
Yeah, there's no, like, young piece you're like that about. Like, the best young piece is probably McBride, but, like, McBride is nowhere near a centerpiece for, like, a
He's not even
Giannis
that
trade
young.
or yeah, I don't even know. He's, like, what, probably, like, 26 or
Yeah,
something?
like somewhere he might be even a little older than that.
Yeah,
A
because
little
I know he was, like, a
overdrawn.
I think he was, like, a 3-year player at West Virginia, so
Hmm. Um, yeah. So with the new coach, he's 24 and he's turning 25 at the beginning of next season. Interesting. He's a little younger than I thought. Um,
mhm.
but anyways, like I think for the offseason for them, I mean, like a Giannis trade, I guess is sort of possible, but it's like it really is like if Giannis says send me to the Knicks, like that's I feel like the main way. Like it's gonna be really really hard to believe, especially like the rumors coming out of Milwaukee is that if they do trade Giannis, like the Bucks are going to win that trade. Like they want to win that trade, and so it means
Yeah,
they're going to like take all of your young assets. They're going to take all of your picks, which to be fair, like they kind of should. Giannis is a top 15 player of all time, or top 20 at the worst. Like he is worth. I mean, like I kind of have mixed emotions because you're trading for one of the best players ever, but at the same time, in 2025, trading for one good player and tanking your rest of your team like is a losing formula. We saw with the
yeah,
Bucks, like Giannis is not good enough to just win you a championship. Like this is not 2018 LeBron anymore, where teams have like four good players on teams. Like now, teams have eight good players, and even then, sometimes that's not enough. And so like it's like you I don't think it's a good formula to like the Rockets, for example. If they trade like all of their good like Jabari and Tari and like Sengun and whatever, like now our team is like a men and like Giannis and like we're still waiting on Jalen Green to break out, which like he isn't going to. Like it's like I just don't love the situation. I feel like if
yeah,
you're gonna trade for him, like you really need like the Pelicans always made a lot of sense to me because like I think Zion for Giannis, like you're probably not getting a better player than Zion. I mean, obviously now
mhm,
it's a little I don't know if I would trade for him, but like it's I don't know how likely a Giannis trade is. And like for like the salaries too, like I guess you're trading Cat, but the Bucks don't even have their own pick, so they can't tank. So like, what does Cat do for me? Am I trying to contend with that? Like that's just I'm not like Cat is my
yeah,
number one, especially Dame out for a year with the Achilles. Like the Knicks just don't really. I mocked up a trade like a month ago, and it was like I didn't include Cat in it, but like I feel like Cat would be an inevitability that he would have to be in that trade because otherwise
yeah,
you're talking about like Josh Hart and OG or McCall, and then like all of their young bench players that don't even get minutes, and then like whatever 4 years away first rounders they have. Um,
yeah.
it just feels unlikely.
Yeah, I think the only trade that makes any sense would probably be a Rockets trade centered around Sengun, and then
Mhm.
you would hope if you're the Rockets, you hope that you could keep most of your roster intact.
As
Like,
long as you're keeping a men, that's really what matters. I mean, like a
yeah,
men is to me like on like that. It's if the Bucks are saying like, well, it's a men, like we're getting a men or we're not doing the trade, then I'm just saying I'm not doing the trade because
yeah,
like he like his potential outlook is so high. He could really be like a legend, and so like I mean he could be a future depoy. Like and he was my depoy this year. Like I really think that he's among the best in the league at that level, and it's not. I mean that's a cold take if anything. Um, so like yeah, I think the Rockets probably make the most sense. They also have the picks that they could do it, but I think also like a Devin Booker trade probably makes a lot of sense for them too.
yeah. I think the Rockets should swing for a number one, but I don't think it should be Giannis because I think the price is too high. I think they just need
Mhm.
to call Phoenix and get one of the two.
Yeah, Devin Booker or
Um,
KD. KD would make a
yeah,
lot of sense on the Rockets. Like they. I mean, it was so apparent. Like they if they have KD in that Warrior series, they win that series. Like
yeah,
their
definitely.
closing offense is just so putrid, where it's just like we're gonna use all 24 seconds on the shot clock, and hopefully somebody can like get a decent enough shot. But typically it's 3 seconds left, like Jalen Green or Fred VanVleet's taking a contested three because like we've tried to use all the entire shot clock and nobody got a good look because like none of us
Yeah,
are a one or arguably even a second option on like a championship caliber team.
yeah,
Besides
I
Sangoon, but that's
agree
like a
with
little different.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, Sengun, especially creating his own, I don't love him
Mhm.
even as a two, but like
Yeah.
I mean, he shot pretty poorly at the rim in the series. Like, he would be better, you'd hope,
Mhm.
but yeah, like KD always made the most sense to me because he could just get his own,
Yeah.
and they have the like infrastructure around them to build like a perfect team or like, and they're
Mhm.
all young. Obviously, Booker fits the timeline more. Like you'll have a longer like run with him, and like
Yep.
if you trade it, you may not even need to trade Sengun if you could get them to buy in on JG and maybe like Reed Shepard and picks because they have the
Mhm.
Suns picks. So that's
Yeah, I mean,
obviously
Reed Shepard is definitely like I said about Dadier, like he's not really worth the first to me. Reed Shepard is without a doubt worth the first to me. Like I think he's going to be a good player, like with no doubt
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade him as like a sell low. It's just that he's an asset that has more value than a first round pick, and the Suns
Yep.
know that, and they would ideally he'd probably be their one for the future because they really don't have any young like
Mhm.
outside of Ryan Dunn, but like Dunn is just like an ancillary piece to a
Yeah.
contender. So it's like
I mean, if
Shepard.
if if the Rockets are doing a KD or Booker trade, like if you throw Reed Shepard in there, I don't know how much other pieces you really have to offer. Like it's, I mean, like it's, obviously you're offering other stuff, especially to match salaries, but
Yeah,
like it's gonna be. I mean, like I'm higher on Reed Shepard's future than like Jalen Green. Like if I was the
yeah.
Suns, for a KD or Booker trade, if I'm getting Reed Shepard and Jalen Green, I'm much happier and more excited about Reed Shepard to be my future point guard than I am to get Jalen Green, who's like I really like I maybe I'm just low on Jalen Green, but I don't think he's ever going to be better than what we've seen.
Yeah, I maybe there is something more, but I don't hate that take. Like, I think the idea would be like Shepard is the main building block, and then Jalen Green is like a quote unquote high potential if you can like unlock the
Yeah,
like whatever you
yeah,
can. But like he's kind of like you're just waiting on
mhm.
nothing, something that's never going to happen. But he'd ideally be like the salary filler with like he's better than a normal salary filler, like
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
has no
I get what
complete
you
use,
mean.
like completely no use. And then you'd
Mhm.
get some of your picks back so that if you do trade KD elsewhere, you can just tank and let Reed Shepard try and figure out like the NBA, and then Jalen Green will just, I guess, shoot you out of games and help your pick. But
Yeah, I saw a
um,
clip of Jalen Green. This like it was like a week or so ago. He's already like in the gym training, and what his trainer has him working on is like driving to the paint and making contact, and then running back out to the three and shooting a three. And it's like he's just working on what he's already good at. Like he's good at taking too many 3 pointers and never driving to the basket when he's like an athletic freak. Like he couldn't like he if Jalen Green got an aggressive mindset and like realized that he's as athletic as anybody on the court and like couldn't get to the basket with relative ease, like he could really unlock his game so much more than taking 20 shots and 12 of them are 3 pointers. But like whatever. I just that's too much Jalen Green talk. Let's get back to the
yeah,
Knicks a little more.
yeah.
Um,
But
there's a lot of rumors for them getting KD. I think that's probably maybe even likely. I think like the team. I always really liked him going to the Grizzlies, but I've heard nothing about that for about a month now. So I'm assuming that is dead and gone now. There's a lot of talk about him going to the Timberwolves, which is pretty perfect. We're talking about the Knicks and the Timberwolves here. Which like, do you agree that because KD is like it's been rumored for basically 6 months now that he's getting traded, and the reports from the last week are like the Suns are actively trying to trade him before the NBA draft, and like it's a guarantee he's not on the team anymore. And
mm,
if it seems it's pretty likely that it's Knicks or Timberwolves, maybe Rockets. Which team do you think he ends up going to?
I would be pretty certain it's Minnesota. I think that they have more young pieces that you're interested in. I mean, just
Mm,
I really don't think Dillingham would get traded because they traded up
no,
for
no
him.
way.
But like, and Shannon is probably not touchable like either. But I think it would
Yeah,
probably be centered around like a Nas Reed sign and trade.
I think there could be a
Probably
Julius Randle sign and trade.
yeah, it would probably be one of those 2 to match the money. You'd probably get I don't know what young player they would give up, but they have more young players at their disposal or picks at their disposal
Mhm.
to use to get KD. And
Yeah,
really, like, anyone besides McDaniels and Ant is probably, like, on the table. Obviously, McDaniels, if he was, like, the, like, main centerpiece and you gave up nothing more really, they'd be fine with it, but I think
I don't think
ideally
so.
he'd be like the perfect player to put around KD because he could shoot the three and defend.
He's so good.
So
If they get
yeah,
KD, like Timberwolves are going to be a scary team because, like I said about the Rockets, they kind of, I mean, like Timberwolves are in a better situation on offense because they have Ant, which like the Rockets have nobody of that number one level. But
yeah,
then like the Timberwolves running into the similar situation where like they didn't, I guess like to the Thunder maybe where they didn't have anybody else to turn to, and so you had like Julius Randle who was having inefficient games, or like after that it's, I mean, Jaden McDaniels like randomly would have 20-point games, but then he would also have like 6-point games, and
yeah,
so like they didn't have anybody else to turn to, and so it was really just praying Ant could get you a bucket. And if they had KD, I mean, I don't think that they beat the Thunder, but probably goes to 6 at least. Like
mhm,
it would unlock their offense so much more. And I like that team would be really fun. And obviously Ant and KD, like we saw in the Olympics, it's Ant's favorite player, it's his idol, whatever. So that'd be a pretty
mhm.
cool thing to storyline there. I see some people talking about like Gobert to the Suns, which I don't think that they would trade him. That'd be,
Yeah,
I mean, I would be shocked if Gobert was in that trade, just because like it leaves them with only Nas Reed at center, which like I love Nas Reed. I mean, shout out New Jersey, like Jelly fam, like great player, but like he, I don't think he's like the starting center, like at least not yet. Maybe down the line, I think he's really just like best as a really good six man off the bench. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
He doesn't like his rim protection is just not good enough to play center like in
hmm
this NBA, and it's not, and he's not like a great rebounder either. He'll get you like 5 a game, but that's not good enough.
yeah,
He's really just like a he's like a really a good 4 off the bench. You could
hmm
probably get away with him starting if he's your worst player, but obviously he's not starting if you have KD and McDaniels as your 2
yeah.
forwards.
But then like you're like, I mean, yeah, like Katie. I mean, this past season had a really good defensive season. He was really like a huge part. I mean, the Suns' defense wasn't great, but like it's because everyone else on that team you're running a Nurkic and like Oso Igdaro and Mason
Nick
Plumlee.
Richards.
Yeah, like Nick Richards, like Bol. Like it's just such an
Yeah,
unbelievably terrible center rotation that
to the point
like
where he has to
yeah.
be the best rim protector.
Yeah, and like you're asking 36, 37-year-old Kevin Durant to be your best rim protector. Like there's a reason they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And also like no point guard play at all. But like Suns just have so many problems with their own.
Mhm.
Coming out with ownership too. Like, geez, what a shit show over there. But
Yeah.
they like I I really think KD still has a lot in the tank. And at
Mhm.
least at minimum 2 to 3 years of good play left. And like we see it with Steph and LeBron. These like all time legendary players. They aren't gonna fall off at 34, or 33, 35, whatever like the average player does. And so I see no reason why KD can't play until he's 40 or 41 or whatever. Barring another like injury from him. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I love his outlook on the Timberwolves. I think his outlook on the Nets. I mean, Nets. Sorry. Not again. The Knicks. Would be pretty good too. I don't exactly know what that trade would be. Like, I mean, are you sending Macau back to the Suns, or you send? I mean, I would hope it'd be Josh Hart, because like I really don't want Josh Hart on the Knicks again. Like, I think they need to end that saga. Like
Yeah.
the Nova Knicks had its run. Like they gave it 2 years. I mean, I guess sort of 1 year because they finally got Macau on the team too. But like, I think it's ran a course. Like they aren't good enough as offensive options to be the best players on the team, especially with how much money they're making.
Yeah, I think that KD is way more like I really don't even see like how he'd end up on the Knicks, especially because like he turned down the Knicks in free agency. Like I just don't exactly think he wants to be back in New York.
hmm
I would be surprised if he ends up there. I think the Knicks just have to be aggressive in the trade market, but I don't know what is really out there for them. Like I don't think that they move off Cat for anyone that is realistically available if they can't get Giannis. But like I don't think a Cat like I think Cat Brunson, like, the problem got exposed during the Indy series that they both can't defend, and, like, it's just not a 1-2 winning, like,
Yeah,
punch.
Cat was getting hunted in drop, dude. It was. I mean, the Pacers are the best team in drop again, like really in the league, and Cat was just like, man, that was a brutal, brutal series to watch. I love Cat. I mean, again, New Jersey legend, so like I'm always root for him. But like, geez, that was a hard watch. They really were
Yeah.
just like that was a brutal, brutal defensive team. Um,
Yeah.
and like I think there's like a lot of answers for that though. Like they really I mean, the Knicks, I'll be so annoyed if they go back out next season and they're running the exact same rotation with like Brunson, McCall, OG, Cat, Mitch, and then like Hart as like their main six. It just like the money is so bad with all of those players. McCall's making way too much. Hart's making way too much. Honestly, Cat's making too much. I mean, he second team All NBA. He had a great season. Like I think people are overreacting to his playoffs a little bit too much. I know that he sucked in the playoffs, but like he had a fantastic regular season. He like the talk has definitely has turned too negative on him. With that being said, like if there is a trade somewhere for him, whether it's a Giannis or whoever it is, I don't really know. Like I think if you're trading Cat, it might only be for Giannis because I don't know how much you're gonna be able to upgrade on him if you're trading away Cat. Um,
Mhm.
but like if it's there, I don't know if I'm hesitating to take it because like they need to free up their money situation. They're a borderline second apron team if they're not
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
it's a
looking
bleak
at this
team.
the other day.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure they're about 5 million away from the second apron, and
Yeah,
but like a lot of the contracts, like they're pretty bad. Like I don't really know what they'd have to like give up an asset or two to get off of, especially Hart. Like the
yeah.
Hart deal,
Oh
they'd
my.
have to give up an asset to get off of him.
Yeah,
I feel like the Cat
and
deal would net them
and
like
Brunson took
nothing.
a pay cut too. Like that's the craziest part is they're in such a
Yeah,
cap hell, and Brunson took 100 million. Which like why the hell did he do that? But like he took $100 million pay cut to keep this team together. It's yeah,
yeah,
geez, what a unfortunate situation for Brunson. I wonder if he, when it's all said and done, because like real, I mean, it's so hard to win an NBA championship, and like realistically, I don't think the Knicks, at least with this current core, are going to win one. Um,
mhm,
if they end up, this is their best run that they just had, or maybe they end up going to 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals or something, and like they end up losing. I wonder if he looks back and is like, damn, I really shouldn't have taken that pay cut because like I mean, $100 million that's a lot of money.
yeah. I don't think he'll regret it just because he got to play with his buds. Like it kind of his pay cut set up them being able to get Mikal and Hart really, but
Yeah,
like he'll probably look back on his legacy and be like, it would have been better if I could have won it all, even if it wasn't with his guys. But like,
hmm
I don't know, he'll be fine. But like down the line, it'll suck for him because he's not going to win anything and he's not going to have the money. But like,
yeah, yeah. No MVPs, no finals wins. Like it's just, I mean, not that doesn't mean that you had a bad career. So many players didn't win an MVP and the
yeah,
finals and like still had great careers. But yeah, I mean Brunson. It's who was that? The woman who said like he's too small, he can never win a championship or something. It was like Katie
I
something or
don't
something
know
like that.
I don't know the name, but I know
Yeah,
that he's not a 1A, and it's
yeah,
because I
yeah,
see the edit of him and Perk all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Like I mean, it was
So
like I think a lot of people overreacted to it, which I felt like she to a degree was kind of right. Like
yeah, I
a
agree too.
small bad defensive guard. Like I mean, obviously an elite offensive player, like one of the best in the league, but like a guy that will just get hunted mercilessly on defense. Um, just it's really tough to be your best player on a championship team unless I mean getting an OG and like if McCall can lock into defense again, like I don't him playing 82 games needs to stop at this point. Like he gets worn out when it comes to the playoffs. His defense like
Yeah,
falls off a cliff really, and like even his offense like he's just turning into like a 3-and-D player, which you're paying $40 million to. Like that's not like Jaden McDaniels is basically. I mean, at this point, Jaden McDaniels is almost
he's
better.
better.
Yeah,
He
actually,
is
not even
better.
almost. He is better. Yeah, yeah. He is a
Yeah.
significantly better defender, and the offense is pretty comparable. Um,
I
yeah.
mean,
So like,
McDaniels at least has a little bit of like a off the dribble, like
mhm.
something. He at least got to the rim a couple times in the playoffs. I saw Mikal. Anytime he gets to the rim, he does that stupid little like 10-foot fadeaway. Like
I mean, that shot is money though. But yeah, no, I 100%
it
agree with what
is,
you're
but
saying.
like it's just so goofy to watch because like you just go take the layup, but like
Yeah, it'll be a wide
I
open
don't.
layup and he'll fade away. That's funny.
Yeah, but like the one big thing with the Knicks that's like their issue, obviously with the apron, but like them trading away all their picks because like you see a lot of like I mean even just the teams in the playoffs right now like Dort was like a late first, Kason was like I think what 12, J Dub
Yep.
was 12. Like obviously the stars like Shea was the centerpiece of the Paul George trade and Chet was second overall, but like a lot of like the and
Mhm.
like role players around them are like late first guys that you get
Aaron Wiggins,
like
second rounder. Uh, Adrian Mitchell, second rounder. Yeah.
yeah, Isaiah Joe was signed for like pretty much nothing from
UDFA.
Philly. Yeah, so like you like those late first round picks are where you find like the role players. Like I mean, even just Nemhard was second round pick. Neesmith was I think around like late lottery out of Vandy.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and they
like
got him
I
from the
mean they
Brogdon trade, and he was like a throw-in that trade because he just like he was never
yeah
anything with the Celtics.
yeah like they don't have any real cheap like ways of acquiring role players really because they can't give out any free agent contract that's more than
Mhm.
like the mid level and they don't have picks to trade to draft like a Christian Braun or something. So like
I mean, I definitely like to a degree. I understand and agree with people saying like nobody is going to sign in free agency with the Thunder or the Pacers. But with that being said, like we saw it last year where Hartenstein comes and signs with the Thunder because he says, like, I think I can elevate this team to a championship level team. Like I saw it last year, they were really good, and
mhm.
they just didn't like they didn't have a starting center like or really any center on the roster that was good enough to be like a good rebounder and good finisher. I mean like a putback guy, whatever. Um, like besides Chet, and even like Chet wasn't like our. I mean we were like the worst rebounding team in the league almost because like it was
Yeah,
just Chet and nobody else. We were running J Will for so many minutes, and so um like I think that like people when you win the finals or get to the finals, like people are going to be more willing to sign with you than if you're just a first round, second round exit team over and over again. Like nobody wants to sign with the Kings because they're mid and like they just keep losing in the playoffs. But if they made a finals run, somebody would be like kind of interested in going to them. I'm sure.
yeah, I think like the biggest difference is like you're not going to see anyone taking minimums to like how some people take minimums to play with LeBron or play with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Lakers, stuff like
yeah,
that. But like people like anyone who thinks that people don't want to win are just lying to themselves. Like if they see winning and they think they can impact winning and
hmm
continue to win on that team, they'll go. Like as
yeah,
long as the price isn't like completely like terrible. Like if they're getting paid pretty fairly and they know that they can win and elevate the team and possibly elevate themselves and get more money on their next contract by contributing to winning, like they're going to take that opportunity.
hmm
So I think both teams will be set up to get like the pieces around the core that they built like throughout because obviously you'll have to move off some guys when they get too expensive, but you'll be able to replace them.
yep. Um, all right. Anything else from the Knicks or Timberwolves like outlook on their future? What they do on from here?
Not really. I think we kind of covered like all the like big possibilities that both teams have. It seems
Mhm.
kind of like shaky for both teams. Like they have the core, but they don't have great means to upgrade the core
Yeah.
or upgrade the pieces around them.
Did you agree with the Thibs firing?
Uh, I I'm like in the middle because I don't think he's a championship like level coach, especially because I think the way he like just overuses his players wears them down throughout the season and makes it impossible for them to complete
Yep.
the whole playoff. I think it was kind of harsh to do it after he brought them back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time. Like I would have at least gave him like another maybe like first half of the year and tell him to like try and cut down on the whole like playing, but I'm not like completely opposed to it because you have your choice of more candidates now compared to
Mhm.
what you would have if you fire him mid-season. And like,
Yeah. It's tough
it,
that like they could have done it last year if like and if they were going because he had a better run this year and so like you're gonna
yeah,
fire him last like if you're gonna fire him you could have done it last year where there was an elite coaching carousel like there were so many better options out there
yeah,
like now your best chance is like to steal a coach away from another team which is pretty crazy um
yeah,
yeah like it's I don't know I didn't disagree with the take with the firing because I mean I've said it for years but I was really heavy on it this year where like you said, he's just not a championship level coach. Playing your guys, especially in 2025, like I said, like a bunch of times throughout this podcast, where like the bench is so important in this year. Like it's never been before. You need a legitimate 4 to 6 players. I mean, like 4 or 5 guys. 6 is probably too much on the bench that you can really rely on. You saw with the Timberwolves and the Knicks, they rely on 2 or 3 guys, and it's not enough at all. The Timberwolves are turning to Terrence Shannon, and the Knicks ended up turning to Landry Shaman and DeLon Wright. Like they're just hoping anybody can play. And it was kind of too little, too late for the Knicks. They turned to these guys when you're already losing in the Eastern Conference Finals. You had 82 games in the regular season. You had 2 previous series to look at these guys, and you gave them like no burn at all. And so now you're just hoping that they can like hit big shots. Like it's kind of unfair to them, and it's just like an unfortunate situation. But yeah, playing your starters 45 minutes a game is just it's too much. I had a tweet on it a couple weeks ago saying like that playing your starters so much and so little bench, like the bench gives you so much variance in any game in any series. Where I
Mhm.
mean, you have Obi Toppin hitting 5 threes. If you have your starters playing for so many minutes, like you kind of know what to game plan for, you know what to expect, and so there's so much less variance with somebody stepping up huge and having like if OG is just consistently having 15 points, like it's unlikely for him to go off for 30. Whereas if you play Miles McBride a lot, he might go off for 20 points or 15, 17 points, whatever. And that was an unexpected thing that you couldn't really game plan for. Whereas if it's just
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson playing all the time, like you know how to stop him, you know what to game plan for him. And so it really simples down the offense, especially in a 7 game series. By the time you hit game 5, 6, 7, you like are super in the groove of how to stop these guys, and you really know how to get them off the dribble, how to make them go left, whatever, whatever.
Mhm.
How to make them go to the spots they don't want to go to. And so, yeah, I don't like Tibbs as like if you're really trying to make a championship level team, I don't like it. If you're trying to make a team that can raise the floor and like be a great regular season team, he's one of the
Yeah.
best ever. But yeah, like I think he's like a dynasty starts after you type of coach is really a way to
Yeah.
put it. Um, and I mean maybe if they get a new coach like this team, it sort of is championship caliber. Like they need to make changes, but they have the pieces like Brunson, Cat, like OG, maybe Macau. They can be no doubt about it. Like I mean, we saw Macau in the finals before. We saw OG win a finals before. Like I mean, he didn't play, but like he was on the team. Like they can be championship level players, and so they just Josh Hart can't be on the team. They aren't winning a finals if he's on the team, especially with the money he's making. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Knicks.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the Timberwolves, like Loki, I'd be interested in firing Finch, but I guess they're not going to do that. So
Yeah. They
that's
should.
a
But
yeah. I mean, whatever. All right, we can get into our last few things and then get on out of here. All right, the last thing is Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. It was kind of an inevitability. It felt like for months and months at this point where their quarterback room was Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, like just desperately needed anything that's slightly better. Um,
Mhm.
I guess you can consider Rodgers that. As a Jets fan, you could probably speak to Rodgers a little. I mean, maybe better than I can. You were probably a little more locked into him last season than I was. How do you feel about him going to the Steelers and playing your team week 1?
Yeah, it was kind of an inevitability, as you said. Once they put Steelers Jets on for week one, it was kind of like everyone knew it was going to happen.
It was in the script.
Um, yeah. Rodgers, I mean, he's not bad. He's just like a middle of the pack quarterback at this point. Which is honestly an upgrade from what I've had to watch from the Jets for most of my life. Like
Yeah,
he was unironically probably one of the best 2 quarterbacks I've ever seen play for us besides Sanchez. And like, yeah, it was
Sanchez was
bad.
pretty good.
Yeah, he led them to well, we haven't made the playoffs since him. But
Yeah.
yeah, Roger, he's not like bad. He's just not what he used to be. He like he can still make every throw you need him to, but you're not going to get it as consistently, and he's not going to be as turnover free. He got a little bit too
Hmm.
turnover happy,
Yeah.
trying to force stuff. There were some like that weren't on him. Like there's a couple that bounce off Lazard's hands because he's terrible, but um Rodgers is just like your average bridge quarterback, and like
Mhm.
if he does take on like a leadership role and help mentor Will Howard, maybe this like helps the Steelers long term. But I don't. I think this is just like a Steelers need a gap year quarterback. The Rodgers needs a team just to get revenge on the Jets and the other teams that he wants to beat up on. It
Mhm.
doesn't really like move any needles for this year. I still think the Steelers are just like a your average, like they're pretty much just a lobby filler in the NFL at this point.
Yeah.
They win 9 games, lose 8. They have some classics against their division, and they just play like they always go like around, I don't know, 15 to 20 points a game.
Mhm. Um, do they hit 500 this season? I mean, I know it's like they do it every year, but
I
what
mean,
do you think?
I don't think they do. I mean, dude, I just don't see it with this roster. Like,
Mhm.
I think their defense is worse than in years past. I don't
Yep.
exactly know what they've signed, but I just don't think it's as good, especially like Hayward's getting worse and then the offense, like,
TJ Watt
gosh, I
kind of is
mean,
too. He
yeah,
didn't have that
like,
great of a year last year.
yeah, I think Watt's still like a great player, but
No, no, that yeah, he's still like one of the best, but it's just like he's not like the best in the league. If I mean, if you could argue he ever was, I feel like Garrett's better, but maybe
yeah,
that's just me.
I've always felt that way too. But like, yeah, I don't know. And then the offense is just so, I mean, it's just so hideous without like now who is the wide receiver two now? Or wide receiver
Um,
one even?
I mean DK Metcalf, all right,
Oh yeah, yeah,
big
they
big
have
time
DK.
receiver
Okay.
one. Which yeah,
Yeah,
like I was thinking about that the other day. It took me like a solid minute to think like who is the receiver one. I was like, oh my god, they traded for DK, which like
yeah.
eh, like it's just so like whatever. I think they traded like a second rounder for him, which yikes.
Paid him
Um,
150 over 5.
yeah, the
Like,
worst contract in the league without a doubt. That contract is going to age horribly. DK's such a
yeah,
one-dimensional player.
I was
Oh
never
my
a fan of
goodness,
him.
their receiver two, Robert Woods.
Robert, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
I
then
can't
Calvin Austin
say
the third, who's like, what is he like 5'9" or something, right?
yeah, he's like
Five
yeah,
nine, one
about there.
sixty. Yep,
And
nice.
then you have like Roman Wilson, but like,
Scotty
and then
Miller, Roman Wilson, Ben Skowronek. Yeah, this team is
yeah,
this
and
receiver room is awful.
who's the running back? Because they
Oh,
obviously
they signed
let
Donald
not.
Parham. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh well, he's out for the season. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he tore his Achilles. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah, I
Oh,
saw that because he's a Madden Ultimate Team legend. So everyone everyone in the
yeah,
community loves him. But
yeah. I mean,
um,
Fryermuth is pretty solid. So they have a solid tight end. Um,
yeah,
but I mean, like even like their running back room is bad too. They got Jalen Warren and like I love Caleb Johnson. I'm really high on him, but like Warren was kind of like, he was good, but like he was a 1-2 punch guy. I don't think he's gonna be like unless Caleb Johnson
and
really steps up and is good day one. Like this running back room could
yeah,
be really shaky.
yeah. But like, I mean, like, if the Jets' offense was like barely competent with Brees and Garrett and Adams, like
Yeah,
the Steelers are just going to look a lot worse.
yeah.
Like,
Like they're gonna average 10 points a game. Like there's a solid chance of it.
yeah, I
And
don't.
like you said about the turnovers earlier, I remember I think his over under for interceptions was like 7, and I took the over so fast, and I was so
Yeah,
confident in it. Like I was on a radio show last year for an internship, and like I remember bringing that up, and it was one of them was a Jets fan, one of them was a Giants fan, and the Jets fan was like, "Oh my God, what? Like what are you saying? There's no way he'd throw 7." Blah blah blah. Like his last year with the Packers, he threw like 11, and
yeah.
then he coming off a torn Achilles at like age 37 or whatever he was. Like it felt like so obvious that he was going to
It,
have a bad
it
season.
it would take some time for him to figure out what he still can and can't do off of the
Hmm.
Achilles. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
and now that
to be
he's
fair,
figured it
the
out,
last month of the season, like Rodgers played pretty well. The Jets were not
yeah,
a bad offense at all. Him and Adams really hit that connection again. Him and Garrett Wilson started to like play decent, but and like Brees Hall started to play better too. Um, but yeah, like I mean, this team doesn't have an Adams. It doesn't have a Garrett Wilson. Like the best receiver DK Metcalf is worse than both of those, and so
mm,
and like his DK is really like a like you could get him I guess on a screen pass and like let him run, or a lot of it's like deep
just
posts
vertical,
and
yeah,
streaks and things like that. Like that's not really Aaron Rodgers' game anymore. He's not going to throw the ball 40, 50 yards and like hit you on a dime like he used to be
yeah,
able to. And so like I mean Robert Woods might get 120 targets this season, like just like
yeah. Just
spamming those
running underneath
slants
on
and
like J
curls
routes,
and
yeah,
yeah, like it's gonna be a lot of 5 yard routes for this offense. It's gonna be
yeah.
really ugly. But uh, I mean the Jets still have Alan Lazard. How long does it take for the Steelers to trade for him?
Let's see, maybe like week 3 once who's the third receiver again? It's
Calvin Austin.
yeah, once Calvin Austin like drops like a deep ball or drops a slant or something, Rodgers will say, "Just get Lazard back here," and then maybe
Sign me
we'll
Robert.
cash in for like a
Sign me
Randall
Randall
Cobb.
Cobb.
Yeah, maybe we could cash
Jeez.
in on like a 6th round pick for Lazard, hopefully, and draft I
Yeah,
mean, a
maybe.
6th round pick would have less bad plays than him. So
Yikes. Yeah, you're probably not wrong about that. I mean, you guys don't even really need Lazard. I mean, you got Josh Reynolds, and then like you got Malachi Corley, who I don't know
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're
The
high on him or not.
the receiver room's brutal, but like I'd honestly rather just give Corley reps and hope he can develop into something
Hmm.
because like we obviously know what we have with Garrett, but like besides that, it's just unknowns. But I'd rather see someone who could be like a long-term player get
Yeah,
the reps than Lazard, who won't be on the team after this contract if he's even on the team by like mid-season.
yeah. He feels like he's almost a guarantee deadline move because like I mean the Jets aren't a contending team this season unless
Yeah,
not even unless like they're just not. Fields isn't going to have a breakout season like to a degree of making you a contender. Maybe he plays better than he ever has, but like it's especially in the AFC like it's gonna be borderline impossible to sneak into the playoffs. Um,
yeah, he'd have to have like an outlier breakout year, like
yeah, which to be
something you
fair,
don't
like
really.
this division is trash. So like outside of the
Yeah,
Bills, like I'm pretty high on the Patriots, but like I'm really low on the Dolphins. So like I mean maybe that's 2 wins or at least 1 win against the Dolphins. Maybe you can sneak 1 or 2 against the Patriots. Um, but like I don't know your guys schedule. Uh,
it's
it's
honestly not that
it's I mean
terrible, but
there's
like we're
yeah
not a
like
great team.
Tampa,
Like
Dallas, Denver, Cincy,
it's just like it's your
Baltimore.
average 7-10 season again, probably.
Probably, yeah. And like the Steelers have I was looking at their schedule. It's not very easy either. I mean, like Jets, they have Vikings,
Yeah, they play the
Bengals,
NFC North.
Packers. Yeah, I mean there's a ton of Aaron Rodgers rivalry games here. Like
Yeah,
Charger, I mean they play the NFC or to the AFC North and the AFC and the NFC North. So like I mean, those are two
yeah.
really really good divisions. Um, it's gonna be hard to sneak out a lot of those wins. They obviously play the AFC North. They're in the AFC North. I'm dumb.
Yeah,
Um, what division do they play? Oh, they play the East. Um, and then
yeah.
they
Which
play
I
the
mean,
yeah, which like some give or take games, but like I mean, it's not like the Steelers are so good that I'm like, oh, Patriots, that's an
yeah,
easy
like
win. Jets, that's like literally all 4 of those games are I don't know who I'm taking.
well, I mean the Bills will smash them, but
Oh
the
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah, yeah,
three,
my bad. Yeah,
yeah, the
that's
other three, it's like they're not great teams, but the Steelers, like you don't really feel confident the Steelers will beat them. Like,
yeah.
but yeah,
Um,
it'll be
mhm.
interesting. I
uh,
don't even know what to expect.
yeah, like I don't know. It feels like a little bit of a swan song for him. Like is this his last team? Is he gonna just like hop around 2 more teams after this? Like I kind of just hope I just kind of want Rodgers to retire at this point. It like
Yeah,
he's past his prime, especially after the Achilles injury. Like I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's an all-time legend. He's made his money. Like he doesn't need. He's not like
he's not
if
even
he's
competing for anything that's going to add to his
yeah
legacy.
yeah like he's going to the Steelers to maybe like the best case scenario for the Steelers this season is 10 wins, 9 wins. I mean, what's their over under? Like probably 7.5, 8.5.
Yeah, I guess it's probably seven and a
Um,
half.
uh, it's 8.5. Like, okay,
Yeah, like
cool. Oh, we 9-8. Let's go, guys. We missed the playoffs. Like, that's
yeah,
like that's not when I in 15 years or 20 years when I'm looking back on Rodgers' career, I'm not even gonna remember him as a Steeler. Like,
mhm,
it's I don't know. It's just it
yeah,
feels a little unnecessary for him. I feel like he could have just hung it up after the Jets tenure, and people would have like forgotten about the Jets tenure and remembered him as a Packer. Um,
yeah,
and like it's kind of the same thing with Favre, where it's like people remember him as a Packer, but then it's like, oh, remember those like I mean, he wasn't even that bad with the Vikings or Jets too. Though. That's the thing. Like it's
yeah,
like at least he was still pretty competent at that point. Rodgers, I mean, he was starting to fall off on the Packers, and then he wasn't good on the Jets, and probably won't be good this year.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's 10 minutes of Rodgers talk. It's probably too much. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's probably all. I guess. All right. Last thing. Are you still feeling Thunder in 6?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I am too. I'm thinking. I mean, worst case scenario goes 7, but I like. I don't know. I'm hoping they close in 6. My birthday is game 3, so
mhm,
like we better we better win Game 3. I'm gonna be so
Get it
upset.
back to 2-1
Yes, yeah.
for your birthday.
Yeah, I'd be so sad if we lose that game. But all right, whatever. I'm Jack. This is Chris. That's finals recap game 1. I'll be back. I don't know, maybe this weekend, probably not. Like sometime next week for game 2 or game 3 recap. All right, yeah, thanks for joining. It's good
Yeah,
recording.
thank you for having me. Have a good one.
Totally, yeah. All right. Signing off. See you guys. Bye.